Melissa, the owner of Brow Tricks. Your artist uses the Brow Tricks healing method because it sets you up for success and them up for success. So hopefully they've sent this little packet home with you. They might have a different healing but either way, hopefully they sent you home with an aftercare cream, because at the end of the day, using this is vital to a successful healing for your brows. But what I want to do is walk you through how to correctly heal your brows. So we're going to take out this little card and we're just going to talk about it. So here's the deal, guys. Day number 1, and this seems really simple, but we're going to break it down. Day of procedure. After 2 hours, wash squeaky clean. Air dry, then apply oil. So here's what's happening. The day of your procedure, afterwards, it's not working so deeply that you should be bleeding. If so, your artist went too deep. So what you should only be leaking is clear fluid. Have you ever gotten a burn and there's that clear kind of crusty healing? That's what happens in those top layers of the skin. You've got epidermis, dermis. When you're causing any for lack of a better word, it's slight damage to that top layer, your body rushes lymph fluid because that's the healing fluid. So what happens is if the lymph fluid gets trapped in that surface and a scab comes on top of it, then your body has to push out that lymph fluid one way or the other. So as it's pushing out that lymph fluid during the healing process, you're actually losing pigment. So this is why this is vital. All this lymph fluid, if it dries, it forms a little crust on your brow and you're gonna get big, yucky scabs. So day 1, after 2 hours, wash squeaky clean. Why this is vital is because that first 2 hours, all that lymph coming out, we want to wash them squeaky clean, get all that draining lymph off. It's not gonna pull any of your pigment. It's actually going to make sure that you don't have big, yucky scabs. So then after you wash squeaky clean, we're gonna let them air dry. You want them to feel dry and tight to make sure they're fully dry. You can pat around them, but not on them. And then you're going to go ahead and just do 1 little drop of this and then on each brow. So that's all you're gonna do day 1. Now for washing, hands down, my favorite thing is actually hand soap. If you think about it, anytime we get bacteria on our hands and things, it's formulated for skin, and also it's formulated to remove bacteria. When you're washing, you're not trying to scrub anything off, you're just trying to cleanse the area. So washing instructions, it does have it on the bottom of the card. It says lather soap on fingertips, gentle circles moving outward, splash to rinse. And then it's also the reminder of air dry or blow dry. So no padding except around. So you're going to actually get your hands wet, squirt some soap onto your fingertips, and then you're going to lather in circles till you've got a nice lather on your fingers. Then you're going to do little circles moving outward, and what you want to do is you want to move the hair, but not so hard you're moving the skin. So just move the hair, little circles, and splash. Now this day 1, you want it squeaky clean. So if you have to wash 2 times in a row until the skin feels squeaky, do so. But you do want to really thoroughly cleanse the skin that first day. Not being rough, but just make sure it's really got all that icky lymph off. So day 2 through 10, what we're doing during this time period is making sure that the ink is setting. And what I mean by that is that the ink and the scab are one at first. So you have to give time for that scab to dry out and for the skin to heal. And then the ink settles, the scab separates, and it flakes off. Some people will only notice light flaking. Some people will have a little bit of a scabbing. It's going to depend on you and your body and how you heal. But the whole idea of this time period is don't touch your brows. Let them heal, let them do their thing. If you pick those scabs off early, you will not only lose your pigment, but you might cause scarring. So just, we'll talk more about that on the backs of the do nots, but the instructions are day 2 through 10, shower. Ideally you avoid baths because they're very steamy. Shower, avoid brows. So during your shower, just, do what you're doing, tilt your head back. Just try not to get water, soap, anything on your brows. Avoid your brows during your shower. Shower, avoid brows. Air dry, then apply oil. So again, with the air dry, at least an hour, let them really dry out, feel dry and tight, then put on just a little bit of oil, 1 drop each brow. Wash at PM, and then oil again. So your PM wash, same thing. Get your hands wet, lather, circles, splash, let it air dry, and then apply your oil again. So this is the basic instructions, but I want to go over the do nots. So just a reminder, the card says makeup is not permanent until healed. Your healed results depend on you. So you're investing a lot into your brows, guys. Take care of them. Follow these directions. Do it right. But because truly, until the skin has healed, the pigment has settled and separated, it's not permanent. So if, depending on what goes on your skin during this healing process, you could pull all of your pigment. So while scabbing, the do nots are: do not use any other products around procedure area or submerge in water. There are lots of things you can put around that will pull the pigment. Acne products, some wrinkle products, certain soaps even will completely pull your pigment out. And a lot of people will say, oh, I just put it here. Well, when you're sleeping and it moves on your pillowcase, it gets onto your pillowcase, then you move and you get it on your brow area. So just end of story. That first week, nothing on or around the brows. End of story. Do not sweat or take hot showers. So let's talk about sweating and why this is so important. Did you know that to remove pigment, they actually open the skin and apply saline? Saline, salt water. Guess what sweat is? Salt water. And your skin is already open. So literally in that first 5 days, if they take saline and scrub it into your brow, it's going to pull out all of your pigment. It's called saline removal. So if you sweat during that first week, you will eat up your pigment. It's like doing a saline removal on yourself. No sweating. Hot showers, you know when a scab gets wet, it's like gets that like soggy wet and you touch it and it just falls right off. That's why we can't do hot showers, because if it gets to that soggy point and you barely touch it, your scab is gone. So if your brows are wet, absolutely no touching. Lastly, do not pick, itch, or touch. Scabs must remain for 5 days plus to keep pigment. It's really important for the health of your skin to let them do their own thing with healing. Give it 5 days at least, but just know that if any of those scabs come off before that, you will not have color in that area. I always ask my clients to send me pictures on day 5 so I can verify if there's any part where there's no scab. I go, just prepare, there's not going to be color there, and it'll turn the skin kind of a pink color. It's bad. So just make sure that they stay for at least 5 days. Really just let them do their own thing for healing. And again, for instruction videos on washing, aftercare stages of healing, browtrickshealing.com. And then the other thing is I have a video up about this and I want you to see it, but this is the last thing I want to talk about is the healing emotions. Because this is a real thing. Even us as artists who know and expect what to happen and see it over and over, we go through these emotions when we do our own brows. Day 1, check out my gorgeous brows, because you're like, these are perfect, and you're sitting and you're scrutinizing, I need one more hair here, and you're all stressed about like absolute perfection and just over analyzing them, but you're like, these are killer. Day 2 through 10, that scab starts to form, and like when you get a cut and the scab is bigger than the cut, that's what happens. And sometimes a bigger scab will be here and a thinner scab here, so the shape is going to be off, the color is going to be off. You're seeing scab color, you're seeing shape, the scab shape. It's all no bueno. So day through 10, it's never mind, I hate the color and shape. And it's what happens. Like you literally are like, what was I thinking? This is horrible. Day 5 through 10, now my ugly brows are falling off. And that's what it's like. It's like, I hate them and they're falling off. Like, you're super upset. Day 10 through 15, nothing stayed. I'm mad I wasted all that money. And trust me, if I had a penny for every time a client messaged me being like, nothing stayed, I'm so mad, and I'll be like, hey, guess what? Like, don't message me again till day 30. And then if you're still mad, we can talk about it. And I'm finally to that point where I can confidently say that. But trust me, it's normal if you're feeling this way. Day 15 through 30, oh, they're coming back just like she said they would. And trust me, that's the point where you feel stupid if you yelled at your brow artist and you're like, I'm sorry, please forgive me for being mean. Will you still do my touch up? That's why you can't be mean to them or they won't do your touch up. So be nice to your brow artist and trust the process. Trust the process, trust the process. And touch up, it's like, I knew I would love them. And literally, it's so funny when I have people freak out the whole time at the end. They're like, I knew you'd do so great, and they're so great. And I'm like, you did not know that. You freaked out the whole time. Don't even lie right now. But really, guys, like, trust the process. It really is a process. And everybody heals differently. You are going to have patchy spots. You are going to have, you know, little shape adjustments. Just know that they're not going to be perfect until after your touch up. So if you need perfect brows in 1 week for your wedding, microblading and permanent makeup is not for you. This is something that you start like 3 months before your wedding to get perfect brows on that day. This really is a process. You have to build in the pigment, let it heal, go through these stages of healing, perfect it, touch up, let it heal, boom, then you're perfect. It's at least a 60-day process. So just please, but I promise it's worth it. You get bomb brows. But just remember, day 1, get rid of that lymph, get rid of that yucky lymph, and then just keep the area cleansed by washing once a day, and keep it slightly oiled with your aftercare, and you will heal beautifully. So you got this. I have faith in you, and just, again, trust the process, trust your artist, and come back here, watch these videos if you're panicking. Don't text your artist and be mean. Nice meeting you. Have a wonderful day. Bye.